they've got a great scheme. They've got a great scheme, and they've got a heck of a group of players. I mean, the quarterback's on fire. Their skill positions are really good. Tight end's awesome, and then the back, Blount, he's running very strong. He's a very strong runner, and even the speed backs they have, the change of pace backs, they've got stuff to deal with also. So just collectively, O-line, all of them, they're really well. They're well coached, and they're humming right now. Let's put it that way.
They do particularly well on third downs and in the red zone.
You know, on third down wise, they managed to get to 2nd and 2 to 5. I mean, they do a great job running the ball, staying on schedule, and they get you in that 2 to 5 range where they're very successful. And so the challenge for us is try to keep it 7+, 6+. Getting back to what we've been really good at, and that's defending the run to do it. But they've done a great job staying on schedule, keeping the chains moving in that regard, and giving the quarterback very easy throws in that 2 to 5, 2 to 6 range. In the red zone, they've been very consistent throughout the year with what they do schematically. And like I said, they've got weapons all over the place. You can't handle all of them. The quarterback is so good at locating the one player that would be open. Say that one more time.
See much of a difference, and how do you expect them to kind of pull out for the last?
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a drop off with the tackle, but I shouldn't even say a drop off. I believe the replacement started 10 games last year, so if I'm not mistaken. But it's a shame what happened to him. I always hate for a player to get injured. I don't care if he's against us or for us. They work so freaking hard to get where they are, and then for that to happen to him, I feel terrible for him. Schematically, I don't think it'll change him.
Issues you saw with the run defense on Sunday, what do you guys need to do to fix those?
One of the worst things in football is to have somebody run the ball on you. It is. It was leaking. They've got a heck of an O-line and a heck of a back. And the biggest thing that went wrong is he falls forward for 4 or 5, and it's just natural instinct, because we've been very good against the run, for someone to think that they've got to do a little bit more. And when defensively, when you're playing an all-11 defense like ours, when somebody thinks they have to do a little bit more, they leave their gap, and then gap integrity becomes a question. And so that was a domino effect as the game went on. They had a couple of cool runs that we feel like we've got fixed, we've got handled now with that trap. But it just got to the point where it just seemed like people were just trying to do a little bit too much, and gaps started opening. And when you have a back like Zeke, he's going to find it and he's going to expose you.
That's happening during a game. What can you as a coach do to sort of get them back on their responsibilities? And
you got to coach them. You just got to keep coaching them. And hopefully this is hopefully for all of us, coaches included, a great learning experience for them to move forward, that on the sideline, it's not about doing more, it's about doing your job. And when you do your job, you trust that your job is good enough. So from a run game standpoint, you buckle your chin strap and get ready to roll, especially when you play a team like Dallas and Philadelphia. They've got a pretty good O-line too, so another good challenge. But run game is all mindset. It's bringing out your dog, and having that mindset that nobody will run the ball on you. And so we got to get back to that point. You know, we got a chink in our armor, and we got to get fixed.
What's the thought process of playing Eric Reid at linebacker?
You know, this is just me speaking. I can't speak for the entire league. It's just my thought, and that the evolution of the running back and the tight end has far outpaced the evolution of the linebacker. It's not even close. And what Eric Reid, what he's done as a safety is unquestioned. He is one of the better safeties in all of football. Tart is a very good safety. Jimmy Ward is a very good safety. So to utilize their athleticism, their speed, Eric Reid being a very physical player that he is, and being one of our smartest players, I felt like it wouldn't be, we as an organization felt it wouldn't be an issue for him to move a couple yards closer than he already was. And we thought he did a good job. And in practice, he's showing up again, and there's no doubt in my mind, if the league thinks he was a really good safety, wait till you see his versatility and what he's able to do as a linebacker. He's going to be unbelievable.
Last year, Calvin Smith.
Yep.
He listed at 215. I don't know if that's what.
205, 210.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm sure he's not that anymore. But I mean, are there any I mean, people look at Eric Reid's weight and say, oh, he's not a linebacker. Are there any kind of similarities between what
You know,
Jacksonville?
it goes back to a player's style. You look at guys like Mark Barron, Buchanan at Arizona, and then Telvin, who's a very small linebacker. What they've mastered is the ability to get on and off blocks within a short area to utilize and create space, to utilize their quickness and utilize their speed. Telvin, over his first few years as a linebacker, figured out how to get on and off blocks very quickly and to create space for himself in a very small area, so that way he can use his greatest asset, which is speed. And so for Eric, looking at what he's able to do, he is a very fast, quick, has great short area quickness, and he is very physical. And now it's just trying to learn how to create space in such a short area. And he's like a sponge, man. I think he's going to be cool in there. I think he's going to be pretty cool.
His ability to shed blocks, is that his greatest challenge in making this move?
Yeah, and like I said, when people think linebacker, they think of old school Dick Buckus, butt press, get off a block. Everyone's got a style. To be able to just quick shock and shed, get off a block, that's the whole essence of block protection, is to get off a block, defeat your block, however you have to. And he's got such long arms already that if he can create that separation, he's strong enough to be able to handle it, and he'll be able to get off blocks. And he's already been working on it. He's already done it as a safety. He's been doing it all OTAs and training camp. He's practically a linebacker in the box, moving him one guy up closer. It's really not that big of a deal. And so his improvement from practice last week to this week, already from yesterday, I'm excited to see him today because he's already made a pretty good jump from practice standpoint.
Are you looking at him as a base linebacker or pretty much in the subset?
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and takes it. Wouldn't be.
Where would you put Ruben on this spectrum? He's obviously heavier than Eric, 228, but he's lighter than a guy like Navarro was. So where would you put him on the quickness / kind of strength spectrum?
Ruben's a little heavier. I think he's in the 235 range right now. I know his list weight might be a little bit different than what he actually is. Like I said, they're different styles. Ruben does have great speed. He has enough speed. He has enough quickness, and he's proven that over time. So when you find a guy like Ruben, who is he's just an elite talent, then he plays linebacker, and you're good with it. But not everyone is built like Ruben. That's why he was projected to be a top 5 pick. So.
And how would you evaluate his performance? I saw a couple times he got sucked into some linemen, but in that one tackle for loss, he beat Frederick with his quickness. So overall, how do you think?
For a first game, it was pretty good, especially calling plays and all that stuff. He's missed 6 weeks, so there's going to be, I don't want to say there was a drop-off because I think he did well. His reads were right. He got to his drops. He didn't bust anything. He was really good communicating with the D-line and the back end, making sure everybody was aligned. So I thought he did a good job. I think this week is very important for him to take another step and continue to get better.
You mentioned the communication aspect with Ruben both last week and just now. When you were configuring the defense and moving Eric in closer to him, is that a factor as well? Maybe having somebody like Eric who knows the defense so well and can maybe help Ruben kind of adjust to that?
It helps. I don't know if it factored in because I think Ruben's really smart. He's got a real good handle of the defense, understanding what he needs to do and how to get people aligned and all that. But having a calming presence next to you, the whole thing is with just players in general, the person next to them, they need to start, they need to get that connection where, they can just look at each other and they know what the other one's thinking. But yeah, to have Eric next to him as a calming presence, it does help. But Ruben's got a really good grasp of the defense, so that wasn't a lead thought at all.
Kind of a broad question, but when you look at Richard and some of the penalties he's committed, is it improving fundamentals for him? Is it positioning? Is it focus? How do you coach him up and coach him out of some of those penalties?
Fundamentals first and foremost. He's still a young man, and he's. Yeah, from fundamentally, I'm with you. I don't want to make this. I'm trying to make sure I word this the right way. He needs to gain strength at the top of the route. All right, when they get to a top of the route, there's jostling, there's pushing, there's shoving. It's just natural for it to happen on every single play. And his personal strength, we'd love to see that improve, and that's getting in with Ray too. And along with all the fundamentals of footwork, the eye placement, the hands, with all that, there's another step where he's got to get stronger at the top of the route, so it doesn't look so violent, where it just looks like they're just jostling for position. When it looks violent, the referee just can't help but throw a flag on him, even though he may not be fouling. It just looks like there's a big struggle going on, and it just looks awkward in live situations. So for Richard, one of the biggest things he needs to improve is his overall strength, which I think will.
What's your evaluation of Dante Johnson on the other side, how he's doing?
Dante's a very smart player, very consistent player, and they're two completely different styles. Richard's in your face, wants to get up there, where Dante is more plays the game. He plays it smart. He does play smart, and so my evaluation of him so far is he's been very consistent.
When you say Richard's strength, you mean actual physical
strength, yeah.
Not like technique-wise strength.
Overall strength, physical strength.
Guys were pretty emotional on the sidelines. Richard, Jaworski. How do you view all that, and do you see that as just part of the game and part of playing an emotional game?
I do. You know, I didn't catch wind of it. I mean, I saw it happening on sideline. I'm so engulfed in trying to get things right on the sideline, and you see it over the sideline. Position coaches, I thought, did a great job handling it. In moments of adversity, your best character needs to rise. And so with what happened, I'm not really concerned about it, because it's not, I mean, if you see what happens on some of these sidelines, it's unbelievable. So I think our guys, that's a pretty tame moment in comparison to the rest of the league. And those guys, being so young, great learning experience. And it was squashed the second it happened. So those guys, and within a series, were back united. I mean, it happens. So.
That's what more. And you said there was something you were going to do, hopefully would work, but you weren't going to say what it was. Was that moving Eric Reid to linebacker, or are you envisioning that he will help third down defense, or what was it?
You know what? If you look at our first 3 3rd and 6 pluses, I mean, it looked like a jailbreak. I mean, we had guys just pounding the quarterback. We got off pretty clean, felt really excited. I think we were 4 of 6 on 6+ yardage. The sad part is we couldn't get him the 6+ after the first 3, so the third down package really never got to come to fruition. But we were really excited about our plan going in, and it showed. And they lived in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and that kind of thwarted our plan. So.
See that as a gigantic move, a big undertaking for him, or do you think it's what your strong safety role is in your defense? Do you think it's maybe not as severe as one might think, going from safety to linebacker?
It depends on the person. Eric is a very versatile, very smart, and a very committed individual. You give him a challenge, he's gonna kill it. And for a guy like Eric, I don't think it's a big deal, because of the person he is and the challenges that he's going to take on, and he is a team guy. So he's embraced it. He's excited about it from all our conversations, and just the amount of work that he's put into it over these 2 weeks to get himself to where he is today, which I think it's just going to keep going up. It just speaks volumes for him. So for some people it might be, but for a guy like Eric, no.
Do you see a switch with him, because it seemed like he wasn't all that thrilled about it? Did you have to have a talk with him and kind of explain where you're coming from, and did you sense?
No, I never. He, I was getting ready for it, and he goes, "Let's do it." So he was. Eric's been awesome. You know, we've stood up here and we've always talked about it. The best 11. We're trying to do everything we can to get our best 11 on the football field at the same time, and he is one of those. And he's a selfless player, and he knows that he's capable of doing anything you ask him to do. So to answer your question, he's been pretty excited about it.
Just to be clear, is he in the linebacker meeting room? Is it a full-time switch at this point?
I'll save that one. Because, well, it's just no secret. He's been with the linebackers individual and doing all that stuff, so yeah, I guess it's... there's no
Do
secret
you
to that.
intend to play him in a stacked alignment behind a defensive lineman so an offensive lineman doesn't get a free shot on him?
We don't have that. I know some teams could hide them, but we're single gap control. You're always working an edge. Most of the time, you'd want to hide a guy behind a 3 technique if he's a 2 gap cover 2 system. We're single high, working edges. So he never, if he's good with his eyes, good with his feet, he should always be working half a man anyway. So we should be in good. He doesn't need to be hidden. It's a good question though.